Hey. Good morning, guys. Or good afternoon. I'm sorry. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. So if y'all joining, y'all just coming in. If you're just coming in, hit the subscribe button and turn the notifications on and drop a line in the chat to let me know where you're from. We are standing by live right now, watching the podium. Okay. They ain't made it to the podium yet. So I'm assuming they're about to start because this is the stream right here. This is the stream, right? So we standing by live, watching the podium. So Attorney Ben Crump and the legal team representing the family are scheduled to step up to those microphones in just a few minutes, right? Now we know how these press conferences go. We're going to hear official statements. We're going to hear a lot of legal demands. We're likely going to hear updates on independent forensic reviews, call outs for DOJ oversight, and demands for unedited footage, right? So, but before those microphones turn on, before the official statements start flying and getting ready to be recorded, I need us to sit with why we are even here today. Because every time you see Ben Crump's team set up a bank of microphones in front of a courthouse, a police station, or a community organization, it means one thing. The system failed to give answers voluntarily. And it means the family had to go out, hire national representation, assemble a legal team, and force a room full of reporters to pay attention just to get basic facts that should have been public record on day one. So before this brief starts, I want to break down the exact timeline, the pattern we keep seeing, and the hard questions local officials need to be forced to answer, right? Let's talk about the timeline for a minute. Look at how these cases always unfold, okay? Day one, an incident occurs, an initial narrative is pushed out via press conference release. Press conference release, I'm sorry. And it's vague, it's sanitized, and it's structured in a way that minimizes institutional responsibility. So day 2 through day 5, complete radio silence about this whole thing. The family is grieving, asking for body camera footage, asking for incident report, asking for names, and what do they get? It's an ongoing investigation. We can't comment on pending matters. Then week 2 hits. The legal team steps in. Suddenly, independent autopsy reports contradict the press conference, the press's initial release. Suddenly, eyewitnesses come forward with private video that refutes the official claims. Suddenly, narrative that was present or presented to the public as open and closed starts cracking at the seams. Why does it take a national team like Ben Crump and Al Sharpton just to get the basic timeline for events? Why is it that the public only gets transparency when the spotlight gets shined so bright that officials have no choice but to respond? That's the reason why we had Ben Crump. That's the reason why Ben Crump came on the scene. Ben Crump came on the scene because they were not being transparent to what they were supposed to be with the parents, with the American people. Why is it that it's what was happening behind those closed doors during those critical 48 and 72 hours while the family was begging for basic information? In any other situation, if somebody that makes the statement that turns out to be incomplete or misleading like that sheriff did, they would be held accountable immediately, right? But when official agencies issue initial statements that get disproven days later by independent evidence, we're told to accept it as an evolving situation. That is not an evolving situation. That is controlled narrative management. They were trying to control the narrative from the beginning. They wanted to cover for whatever happened with this boy. They wanted to have cover for it. That sheriff came out and said it was an accidental drowning. he had not even heard anything, and he's talking about accidental drowning. That's how I know that they were trying to control the narrative at the beginning. That sheriff came out real early and said that. That governor came out and said, I ain't seen nothing that said nothing beyond an accidental drowning. Well, how do we explain that damn 911 tape? That tells me that from the beginning, they tried to control the narrative to change it the way they wanted to. On top of the fact that the forensic pathologist hasn't come up with any kind of death. She damn sure, he or she, they ain't said nothing about drowning. Now, you know, and I know if it would have been a drowning, they would have been done thrown that in our face. But it wasn't no accidental drowning. So they couldn't throw it in our face. So they had to come up with some way to prove the thing that they were trying to put forward. From the beginning, they were trying to protect these boys. From the beginning, they were trying to protect these boys. Okay? Instead of trying to get justice for Nolan, they were trying to protect these boys. Okay? So I have to lay out the question now. When Ben Crump finishes his opening statement and the floor opens up to reporters, these are the exact questions that need to be put on the record. First, if the initial narrative was full and complete, why was an independent investigator necessary in the first place? Why does a grieving family have to pool resources and hire private forensic experts just to verify what happened to Nolan? If the official process was objective, complete, and transparent, independent experts wouldn't be uncovering facts that were completely left out of the initial summary. Second, where is the raw, unedited footage and where are the full logs? We're living in an era with body cameras, dash cameras, private surveillance, cell phone video on every damn corner. Everybody's a reporter. Yet whenever a critical event happened, we get told the footage needs weeks of review before release. Ain't nobody seen nothing. Everybody and their mama take pictures and video cameras on holiday when they having fun. They want to Snapchat. They do all this. People take video all over that damn Horn Island. Why ain't none of that videotape came out? We get heavily edited snippets released to the media while the raw footage remains locked away. Why is transparency treated like a courtesy or a favor to the public instead of standard operating procedure? Third, at what point does external oversight kick in before a family has to organize a national press campaign just to be heard? Why did they family have to call Ben Crump? Why did they family have to call somebody like Ben Crump in so they could get answers? Because I believe from the beginning that Mississippi tried to cover for these boys. Mississippi tried to cover for these boys because otherwise that sheriff wouldn't have came out and said something about just a regular old drowning, and neither would the governor. All of these people related to these young boys are doctors, lawyers, Indian chiefs, famous football people. All of those people related to them boys are famous or has esteem in the community somehow, some way. That woman had to do what she had to do. She had to call a national spotlight onto her son. She had to, because she never would have got any kind of coverage whatsoever if she wouldn't have did it. They would never have been looking at her son and the stuff that she needs to find out what happened to her son if she would have never called Ben Crump. You would never have heard of it. You would never have heard of anything if she wouldn't have called Ben Crump. So fooey on people who keep talking about why she called Ben Crump in. It ain't nothing but a race thing. No, it ain't a race thing. Accountability should not depend on whether a legal team can get camera crews into a room on a Thursday morning. Okay. And then we have to address the human cost of all this delay and tactics and stonewalling and whatnot. Every day that officials stall, every day they hold back the reports, every day they hide behind standard boilerplate phrases like we're conducting an internal investigation. A family is suspended in trauma. They can't grieve, they can't heal. They have to spend their energy fighting for basic dignity and basic facts. Y'all notice that lately they've been coming out with a theme attacking the mother, attacking Nolan. Oh, he was drunk. Oh, he was doing drugs, blah, 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 blah. Early on, and I have to say this, early on, before this really got some steam going, it must have been July 6th. There was one person, one boy came out and said that crew that Nolan used to hang around with, they always had drugs and they always was doing drugs. According to this one lone guy, I remember hearing it and not really paying attention, but I remember that person saying that crew that Nolan hung around with, they always had drugs and they always did some kind of drug. But now you notice that they're coming out saying Nolan was sloppy drunk. Nolan did drugs, like they're trying to discredit or stain the victim so you won't care about the victim as much as you care about the perpetrators. Okay? And attacking the mom and putting bad reviews on her nursing license and garbage like that. That's some racist goddamn shit. That's some racist shit. Y'all can be petty as hell, for real, for real. Okay? My friends did. I don't. Yeah, they're saying that what they're saying is we didn't do no drug, but Nolan, we made Nolan was drunk. Nolan was doing drugs. Let me tell you that. If you go over there, go over there, goofy Officer Tatum ch- uh, uh, channel, he over there, the goofy over there, have to run back the shit he been saying. He was first saying, "Well, nobody guilty." Hold on. All right, let's get here. We are. Hold on. I don't know why I ain't got no sound with this. Let's they got some goofy stuff going on. Come on. What's going on with the volume? What's going on with the volume? Hold on. What are y'all doing with the volume? What's going on? Every time I try to get the volume on here, it won't. Oh, y'all hold on. I'm trying to get the volume on here. What is wrong with their? What is wrong with their thing? Because that don't make no sense. Hold on. Let me pick up another one. I always get this doggone problem. Why the hell I can't never get this shit to work the way it's supposed to work? The hell? Okay. We're just going to do somebody else's show. Here. Okay. Here we go.
As the, and I dare say he stands
okay.
great lawyers that our community has produced. Thurgood Marshall, Constant, and I could name so many others who over the years have been advocates for our community in many.
There's something weird going on with their volume.
Many men are going to hear someone who is giving voice to the families and the victims of injustice. Ladies and gentlemen, Ben Crump.
Something going on with their volume.
And CEO of the National Urban League, Mark Morial. Please give a great round of applause.
Yeah, something is going on with their volume. Their whole coverage is out. Something is going on. My God, that's what it is. Their coverage is goofy. No way. Yeah, because it disappeared off. It disappeared off of the screen. It disappeared off of everything. What the hell is going on? Something. The whole thing. Yeah. Because I'm on a different person's page, and it's still it died off of theirs too. Let me see. It died off of theirs too. My goodness. Here we go. Here we go. Just going. Hold on. But something is wrong.
Attorney Eric Hertz. We are here fighting for the family of other great lawyers, for Nolan Wells. We also have present with us the family of Daniel Irvin, who many of you are just learning about outside of Dallas, Texas, and his tragedy. We have Attorney Sean DeRaya and Attorney Brooke Cluse fighting to help that family get justice, and we want to applaud his mother, Tamika, who has been fighting.
Can you guys hear it now?
Your mother would fight with not
What's going on
in the world listening, but we're listening today, Tamika. You are not alone, Tamika. You got Nolan's mother and father, Christine, and Elmore Wansley, who are standing with you as well. Tamika, your daughter is here. You are not alone. God, please let her know she is not alone. Justice for Daniel Irvin. You're going to hear from all these families. You're going to hear from Tyler's mother and especially his grandmother. You know, until the lawyers get there, till the community advocates get there, a lot of times these families are just by themselves, President Mariel. And thank God for this mother and this praying grandmother who refused to let them sweep the death of her grandbaby under the rug. And so I will say briefly about each of these tragedies obviously, many of you know about Nolan Wells, and you'll hear from his mother and father after brief remarks by Attorney Hertz and Attorney Park. But we all know July 4th, Nolan Wells goes with friends, celebrating 4th of July. All the friends come back. Nolan Wells tragically washes up on the shore 2 days later, dead. And so we know all the current events that have been happening. We whole call in its entirety. We also, and Attorney Hertz may go into greater detail on these matters, have consulted President Mariel with oceanic engineering experts to talk about how these facts are lining up. The fact that they say Nolan's body was found in the same location where they say they left him at. And so we want to know, how is that possible with the oceanic tides? Yeah. We want the experts. I mean, you got low tides and high tides. It's not adding up. So we are going to dot every I and cross every T until we find out what happened to Nolan Wells. Attorney Hertz will also go into a little more detail, and Attorney Park, about how we're trying to coordinate with Dr. Roger Mitchell, who conducted the independent autopsy of Nolan Wells, to be able to inspect his throat that was missing with his body when he was flown to do the autopsy with Dr. Mitchell. Also, we are hopeful that they will discuss with Dr. Mitchell the photographs and observations made at the time when Nolan was first discovered, because Dr. Mitchell did not get an opportunity until July 10th to be able to examine his body. And at that time, we know the airways and the lungs had already been dissected and so forth. So we can't tell if there was the presence of water or not. That would suggest whether he drowned or not. And remember what Dr. Roger Mitchell said in his autopsy. President Mariel, he talked about the fact that to say he drowned does not draw the conclusions of what happened to Nolan Wells. He said it is equally important to know at what condition was Nolan Wells' body when he went into the water. Was he conscious or was he unconscious? Was he forced into the water or did he go unforced into the water? He said all of these things are very important. And so we're dotting I's and crossing T's. We are focused on getting to the truth, and we stand for the truth. Me and everybody on my legal team stand for the truth, no matter who it implicates or who it exonerates. Yes. We stand for justice, no matter who it convicts or who it acquits. And we stand for transparency, so everybody can see. And that's all we want. We want answers. We're not casting aspersions on anybody. We are saying that we want to make sure everybody who is remotely involved has their questions answered, to make sure we have a full and fair and impartial and transparent investigation. And is that too much to ask for these broken-hearted parents? Is that too much to ask? That's how, if it was your child, wouldn't you want the same thing? And I get it. They're attacking me. They're attacking Reverend Al. They're attacking the parents of Nolan Wells. We don't care about those distractions. We ain't no ways tired. We are completely focused, completely laser focused on getting to the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help us, God. And so The threats, the attacks mean nothing to us. We will not be deterred. Look into our eyes. We're going to get to the truth. I am so grateful to Mr. Byron Allen for donating $100,000 to the GoFundMe so we can help get the best experts in the world. I am thankful to Reverend Al Sharpton. I am thankful to Mr. Tyler Perry. I'm thankful to Mr. Terrell Owens. I am very thankful to everybody who did not think it robbery to say, what can we do to help people get to the truth and call in to the tip line so we can help not only Nolan Wells' family, but we can help Daniel Irvin's family, and we can help Tyler Smith's family as well. Everybody on social media, please continue to ask questions. Please continue to share photographs, share videos. It all helps us solve this potential of what happened to Nolan Wells. I mean, it's just so important. Somebody saw something. Somebody knows something. As Christine and Elmore have said, if you're really Nolan's friend, you know in your heart of hearts that if the roles were reversed, that Nolan would say something. He would call and tell what he saw. And so that's all they're asking. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Do for Nolan what he would have done for you. Congresswoman Beatty, we thank you in the Congressional Black Caucus. Please stand and join us, Congresswoman, because you all asking the questions from the Department of Justice and the FBI. It's important that we have the full weight and force of everybody who has any kind of authority to be able to help us get answers on Nolan Wells and the other 18-year-old black boys. Now, before I bring up the lawyers, I just want to say a word about Daniel Irvin and by his case, and you'll hear from Attorney Sean DeRea, and after you hear from his mother, Tamika. So similar in what they're saying about Nolan Wells. And that is her 18-year-old son, President Maria, Congresswoman Beatty, two young white teenagers come pick them up from their house. Lee, they go on, I guess it's an alleged fishing trip. Her son, I guess they are saying, accidentally drowns. But his two friends then throw away his clothes, right, Sean? Throw away his cell phone, go and delete all the text messages between Daniel Irvin and them, and then say nothing. If it's an accidental drowning, why wouldn't you come to his mother and tell her he drowned by accident? Why wouldn't you go to the authorities? Why wouldn't you go to somebody and say there was a terrible tragedy, he accidentally drowned? But no, they go throw away all of the evidence that is germane to finding out what happened. And it's only after his mother raised all kind of hell, and for 4 days they are searching for what happened. Minister Dominique Alexander and the activists in Dallas, they're saying, no, something happened to Daniel Irvin. We got to get to the bottom of this. Then and only then, Mark Mariel, does the young people come forward to the authorities with their parents, and they say, well, we were there, and they confessed that they threw away his cell phone and his clothes, and they deleted the messages. And so law enforcement charge and arrest them after 3 months. 3 months passed, not until Nolan Wells started making the news did they finally come, and they arrest them, but not for the death of
Daniel Irvin. They arrest him with tampering with evidence, and that's it. And what his mother is saying, what Attorney DeRea is saying, what Attorney Brooke Cluse is saying is simply this. If they would lie about his cell phone and throw it away, if they would lie about his clothes and throw it away, if they would lie about deleting text messages between Daniel and them, how can you believe it when they say it was an accidental drowning? They need to take this case to a grand jury. And you're going to hear from his mother talk about other things that don't add up, about the conduct of the boys immediately after the drowning, the alleged drowning. It's so critical, important that we remember Daniel Irvin as well. And then Attorney Park, Attorney Cluse, we talk about Tyler Smith, and I'll just try to paint the picture real quickly for you, and then you'll hear from these parents, these brokenhearted parents. 4th of July. You can't make this stuff up, Congresswoman Beatty. Attorney Daniels, 4th of July, same 4th of July 2026 when Nolan goes missing. Tyler Smith in Lexington, Kentucky is the only black person in the home where they're having a 4th of July small house party. Somehow, Tyler ends up being shot in his head, dead. 911 is called. They come, the police get there. They tell them that he shot himself, that they were playing Russian roulette. That's what they say. They say, this the gun. The police retrieve the gun, and then they take their word as the gospel that he shot himself. They don't do gunshot residue on the hands of Tyler or nobody else. I mean, basic investigation 101. If you say he shot himself, when you bag his hands and when you test it for gunshot residue, but they don't do that. And you're going to hear from his grandmother and his mother as to the explanation, the implausible explanation that they offered them. And the fact that the gun, President Mariel, that they claimed he used to shoot himself with, the police, after they do analysis, it does not match the casings that they found on the floor to where he shot himself at. So still, they are taking their word for it. And it's 7 days later, right, Miss Nisi? 7 days later, after they then say, who all was in the house? They have to identify everybody who was in the home. And then they have to track down, well, if this is not the gun that caused the death of Tyler Smith, well, where's the gun at? So they have to go investigate, and they go surround one of the young men's houses, Lee Merritt, and they surround the house. He doesn't come and volunteer after knowing that they're trying to find out and get evidence about what happened to Tyler Smith and come forward voluntarily. They have to go to his house and surround it, and then he comes out and finally he volunteers that this is the gun. Think about that, Kathleen Trigg. Just think about that for a second. You would think after all of that, he is surely going to be arrested and charged with killing or being in some way responsible for the death of this 18-year-old young black man. But no, he is only charged with tampering with evidence, correct, Ms. Nisi? Nothing more. And nobody in all three of the questionable deaths of these 18-year-old young black kids, nobody has been held accountable in any way. And so that's why we're here saying that we are not deterred. We're not going to let you sweep it under the rug. We're going to get to the answers of what happened to Nolan Wells, what happened to Daniel Irvins, and what happened to Tyler Smith. 3 18-year-old black boys in a 3-month period around 4th of July, 2026, who all were unalived in very similar ways as Nolan Wells. And I'm very thankful to his parents for using the attention that they were given and blessed with to also give attention to these other 18-year-old black boys. Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much, Elmore. At this time, before we get to your questions, you're going to hear briefly from Attorney Eric Hertz and then Attorney Lisa Park with some updates, and then you'll hear from Nolan Wells' parents. Attorney Eric Hertz, a great civil rights lawyer.
Thank you for showing up. I have some brief updates on the Nolan Wells case. We have been working with the district attorney. We've gotten a letter back yesterday, and she's willing to listen to some of the evidence we have, although we're having to still discuss her giving us back evidence, and that's something that we will see. The phones, not just our clients' phones, but the other phones that are involved in this situation, we are trying to coordinate and have come to a tentative agreement with the district attorney to go ahead and have them investigated together jointly with our experts as well as their experts. And I believe, if I'm not speaking out of turn, the FBI is going to also be present there. And that's going to show a lot of stuff that we haven't seen. I'm going to keep this short, but as I always say, I would like to say one more time, society is judged by how the most powerful treat the most vulnerable, and justice will prevail.
Amen.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Attorney Eric Hertz. And now you will hear briefly from Attorney Lisa Park, who heads up our Atlanta, Georgia office and has been leading on this effort for Nolan Wells.
So today, I just want to recognize all of these families for coming here today, traveling here to Nashville, even family that's here in the audience. If you think for just a moment, for these tragedies, they really just happened. They really just happened. And if you've ever had a loved one that you've lost, it's hard. And you feel like going into a quiet place by yourself, mourning, grieving, doing all of our own religious rituals, right? And so it's quite hard that these families have had to come into the spotlight to stand up for their children. This is not where they want to be. And for those people who somehow think that they want to be in the spotlight, I guarantee you, this is not where they want to be.
Amen.
For all of these families, for every single family member that is suffering through these losses. So I want to commend all of these families. I also want to commend them for coming together as a group, right? Because all of us, we are stronger together.
Yes.
We are stronger together. And there are so many unanswered questions for all three of these cases. But there's hope. And I see that hope because we do get calls.
Yes.
We have been getting over 100 calls a day.
Wow.
And I want to thank everybody who's called in, because for every time there's a hater that's saying that these people just want the spotlight, when somebody calls in with some encouragement, when somebody calls in with some information, it makes up for that.
Amen.
Because we know that we're stronger together. These questions, these cases can be solved, and we can do it together. So I want to thank everybody for calling, right? But I also, last thing, I want to encourage those who have not called yet, and you know that you have some information. One, I know that it's scary. I know that you may be scared. But if there's a time in your life to do the right thing, this is it. And you just have to be brave. And go ahead and please call us. These people, we need you. We need you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Attorney Park. And as Nolan's mother and father get ready to come, I cannot express to you how encouraged we are that we're going to get to the truth. I mean, so many things are coming to light, and we're going to get to the truth. We are not trying to cast aspersions on anybody. We want the truth. We want the truth. That's what we want. And like we said, if that implicates you or exonerates you, then you got to talk to your Lord. You got to talk to your God. But we want the truth and nothing but the truth. And if it was your child, you would want the same thing. And so that's why everybody who got children, you could understand the pain, the agony that this mother and father have been dealing with since 4th of July. How people came, within hours of finding him saying, well, no foul play, just go on. How do you tell somebody just go on when my son is dead and nobody's giving us any answers? All those people out on that island, and you mean nobody know nothing? Nobody saw anything? No, we refuse to accept that nobody knows nothing. We're going to get to the truth. We're going to get to the truth. We're going to get to the truth, and it's starting to come to light because truth is light, and we're going to get to the truth. Y'all give it up for the mother and father of Nolan Wells, Elmore, and Christine. We're going to get to the truth.
Thank you all for being here today. It has been 27 days since we have been able to talk to our son, to hug him, to tell him we love him. This has been the most difficult time we have ever had. I want to tell you who Nolan was. Nolan was a God-fearing, God-loving child. He loved everyone. He was the person who would just make you feel comfortable just being in his space. He was never one to exclude. He always wanted everyone to be happy, to feel good, to have purpose. He would lift anyone up. It didn't even matter if he didn't know you. If you took that moment to just tell him a little bit about yourself, what you wanted to do with your life, right then and there, Nolan would be your biggest cheerleader. Today, we are begging, because I'm not too proud to beg. We are begging, if anyone knows anything, his friends, strangers, please call the hotline, because we will not be able to rest until we get answers. But please understand that all of these distractions, these other questions that people, the attacks that people have sent our way, just know we will not be distracted. We are ready to do whatever we need to do as his parents to continue advocating for him, because Nolan is not here. He is not here to speak for himself. He is not here to tell us what happened. So again, we will not rest until we get answers. And if you know something, you need to let us know. Please do not be afraid. Okay? Thank you all so much again. We truly appreciate your love and support.
I'm faced with a new challenge every morning, waking up, trying to process this. It's the biggest challenge I've ever had. I pretty much was raised up like a lot of you. I didn't have a lot, but I always said I wanted to give my children more than what I had. And I think me and my wife did that. We raised Nolan to love everyone, be kind to everyone, because it was just the right thing to do. As I got a lot of stuff going, but what I really want to say is, like my wife said, if you know something and you are really, if Nolan was really your best friend, or for the people who said that he was their friend, please come forward and tell us what you know. All we want to know is the truth. We're not blaming anyone. We just want to know the truth. Any parent want that. And also, the disrespect that's been coming toward my wife and my family, for any parent, no matter what race you are, they need time to grieve. A parent can't grieve when you have people attacking them, attacking their jobs, attacking their character, just attacking them, period. Like, where's the empathy at? We as Americans, this is a diverse country.
Yep. Yep.
Not no one race made this country. We all made this race, made this country. So we all need to come together. And like I said, if you know something, please come forward and just call our attorneys, give them information, and they'll take it from there. Just help us out, and not just us, but all these families. All these families need answers. Anyone with information on any one of these cases, please come forward, because losing a child is something that you got to live with for the rest of your life. Thank you.
Thank you. And President Mariel, I would just say the attacks, Christine has been a nurse for years, and she hasn't ever gotten negative reviews. But since she has been advocating to find out what happened to her 18-year-old son after he was washed up dead on Horn Island, sick people have been going on her company's website giving her negative reviews. Can you all imagine anything worse than that? That is a shame before God. They are just sick, evil people who would attack this mother and this father for simply saying, we want to know what happened to our child. Don't worry, Christine. We standing with you. We are standing with you. Yep, and next we're going to have the mother of Daniel Irvin come and talk about her child and tell you what happened in her words, and then you'll hear brief remarks from attorney Sean DeRea. Oh, Sean, you want to briefly go? Attorney DeRea will briefly speak before her, and then we'll have Tamika go.
Thank you, Mr. Crump. Tampering charges in this case is absolutely unacceptable. Tampering in itself means that someone intentionally hid, destroyed, or altered evidence. If the district attorney's office has that evidence, take that evidence, put it together, and present it to a new grand jury.
Amen. Amen.
And if the district attorney's office doesn't want to do it, we are calling on an independent investigation by the Department of Justice, because we are here for the truth. And one last point I want to add to what Mr. Crump said. Daniel Irving, when these boys said that he drowned, he was a high school swimmer. He was on the swim team. He was a healthy, young 18-year-old male. So that story that he drowned accidentally, it doesn't add up. It does not add up, and we want the truth.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Attorney Durrell. Attorney Brooke Cluse. We'll say a few words and then we'll hear from Tamika Irving.
Police and law enforcement are supposed to be protecting and serving. But my question today is, who are they protecting and which communities are they serving?
Wow. All right, bro.
What we want to know is why crimes against Black and brown people receive less justice and less coverage. And I'm gonna give you some data to back it up, and I'm gonna read it because I don't wanna make any mistakes here. Over a 10-year period, statistics show that 53% of Black killings go uncharged, no charges related. And so that means over half of those related killings are never prosecuted. And when you think about arrest rates, 63% of white victims receive justice versus are compared to 47% of Black victims. So when people think we have two systems of justice in this country, the data kind of backs that up.
Amen.
And now we'll hear from Tamika. Daniel.
Okay. My name is Tamika Irving. I am the mother of Daniel Irving. This is my daughter, Azaria Irving. This is Daniel's eldest sister. So what a lot of you guys don't know, to give you like some context, my son told me that he was going to go outside and hang with some friends. Okay. And I was under the understanding that he would be in the neighborhood. So I didn't know where my son was. I thought that he was just visiting friends in the neighborhood. Around 8 o'clock or so, I started to text Mike, call Mike. And Mike was an honorable child. He wanted to serve and protect, be in the military. He loved people. He always had a joke to tell. He was very comical. So I called the police the following day at 12:30 in the morning, and I said, hey, my son ID is here, and his money is here, and his Social Security is here, and I don't know where he's at, and this is not like him. So I'm reporting him missing under suspicious circumstances. The officers were very dismissive. The officers were very dismissive. So I didn't get any information about where my son was. I canvassed the neighborhood. I knocked on doors. I asked neighbors for video footage. I had to do the footwork, the research, the investigating. I had to do it. And so to the mothers, to anyone out there who have a loved one, do not wait for the police to do their job.
Yeah. Fight for our children.
Okay, so fast forward, I reported my son missing. My son was to graduate in May. He was unable to graduate because the two boys murdered my son. They said my son jumped off a bridge, and I know that's not the truth. He was found in water. And not only that, my son was on the swim team. He was very comfortable with swimming in the pool, swimming in lakes. The autopsy report shows my son had an unobstructed airway. So my son did not drown.
My Lord, my Lord.
I want to know why the people that are in place to serve and protect failed to do their job from the very start. When I reported my son missing, it took them 35 hours, over 35 hours to input his information only in the state system, showing that he was missing. They failed to enter his information in the NCIC, the National Criminal Database. Being my son was under 21, law enforcement had a responsibility to enter his information within 2 hours, and they failed to do that.
Fight, Tamika. Fight.
My son will fight for me, and I'm here to fight for him. I want justice. We are in the pursuit of justice.
Yes, ma'am. Justice for Daniel Irvin.
Yes.
Justice for Daniel Irvin.
Now that is sad. That's very sad. They said he drowned, maybe he didn't drown, maybe he didn't drown.
Is going to be the family of Tyler Smith, who many of you haven't heard of at all. And I want to have his family, who drove from Lexington, Kentucky to the National Urban League Convention, to say that Tyler Smith life matters too. Y'all, please give him a round of applause. Tyler Smith life matters. Tyler Smith life matters. Tyler Smith life matters.
This is a check on the law enforcement, yes.
I want to thank everyone for showing up today, supporting all these families. I was asked many times, who is Tyler? What does Tyler mean to you? And I had to take a deep dive into that, because to give a few words wouldn't be justice. So I went into my prayer closet, as most nanas do, because see, Tyler calls me Nana. And when people ask me to tell them, I find a struggle in finding words big enough to describe who he is. Tyler is charismatic. He's warmth. Tyler is love. Tyler is compassion and tolerance. Tyler is focus and determination. Tyler is an entrepreneur with dreams, goals, and a vision for his future. Tyler is a calming presence, a peacemaker, and a source of comfort to those around him. Tyler is that warm piece of cake straight out of the oven, that soft buttermilk biscuit that the butter glides across the top. Tyler is the depth of a baby's laughter and the warmth of a grandmother's hug. Tyler is what many people spend a lifetime searching for, but never fully find: a genuine soul with a kind heart and a beautiful spirit. For me, Tyler is much more than all of those things. He's my motivation, my determination, the wind beneath my wings. Even in his absence, he continues to give me strength. He has become a part of the reason I stand, the part of the reason that I keep moving forward. When I received that call at 6 a.m. that morning that my grandson had been involved in a shooting, I thought, okay, hand, foot. And I arrived up on the scene of the hospital and found out that this was a gunshot wound to the head. Again, I'm a praying mother. I have a son who a year ago had a near fatal car accident. I know what God can do.
Yeah.
You can't tell me what God can do. I've seen it. I watch it every day. I watched him learn how to walk and talk. And I comforted his grandfather and said, don't worry about this. We've already been through this fire. It'll be okay. When the physician came out and pronounced my grandson, and she stated self-inflicted, accidental, I told her, you're a lie. And there is no truth in it. I explained to her immediately. I said, how do you have this evidence for you to know this? She said, because they said. I said, they said? She said, yes. As days progressed, my family and I began to move forward. We got none effort, energy at all from the Lexington Fayette County Police Department. We were told that we needed to accept accidental, self-inflicted. They offered no traces of gun residue, even though I called the coroner's office and the police department. And I begged and pleaded, please bag his hands. No child, and I say child because it's relative, no one was searched on the scene. They took an investigation as a total from all 5 of these young people and said, they said this is what happened. I asked for gun residue on anyone. The answer that I was given, well, there's no need to bag his hands. Everyone in this room would have gun residue on them.
Unbelievable.
That was their excuse to me. When they moved my grandson in an expedient manner, not to our local coroner's office, but to the state capitol, which I was told wouldn't happen until that following Monday. Miraculously, in 2 hours, he was on his way to the medical examiner in the Capitol. On Monday morning at 10 a.m., they came back and told me again, accidental, self-inflicted. For 17 days, my sons and I worked tirelessly, investigating everything on our own. The police department gave us nothing, absolutely nothing. They treated me as if I were a pirate, asking all the wrong questions. Why do you need to know? We've handed you that carrot already. Take a bite, settle down. It's accidental, self-inflicted. As I talked to the police chief, I explained to him, he said, well, what do you want from this? What are you looking for? I said, what would you be looking for?
Exactly. Exactly.
I want transparency. I want you to simply do the job that you were paid to do.
Amen.
My family never asked you to go above and beyond. We just ask you to earn the paycheck that you either receive this week or the next. We ask you to simply, the same way you go into our Black and brown neighborhoods and you can investigate and you can interrogate and you can charge, give us the same respect.
Amen. Amen.
Tyler is loved. He's loved. But most importantly, Tyler calls her mama. Tyler calls me Ella. That's my baby, y'all. He's my baby. It will be my dying breath to say his name. No stone will go unturned. I'm not afraid to go to hell and sit with the devil about mine.
Wow.
I want it known. I want transparency. I want someone to speak on it. Continue to say our names. Continue to say our children's names. Yes. We deserve answers. We deserve justice.
Yes,
we deserve transparency.
Yes.
That's all we're asking for.
Thank you.
And I thank you all so much for the time and the space that you have given every one of us.
Justice for Tyler Smith. Justice for Tyler Smith. Justice for Tyler Smith. And we're going to get to the truth on Tyler. I promise you, we're going to get to the truth of what happened to Tyler Smith. At this time, President Mario, we're going to ask that the Congresswoman just say a brief word and then take questions. Vince Evans, CBC, thank you all very much.
Let me simply say the 2 most powerful words we can say. To you as families, to the Urban League family, to you, President and CEO, and my good friend, to you, Attorney Ben Crump. Thank you. But let me just say, the Congressional Black Caucus, we aren't just coming today. We communicated with Attorney Crump, with President Mark Morial, and we stand with you. And I'll end with your words, Mark. We're going to let justice roll down like a stream and righteousness like mighty waters. We are the Congressional Black Caucus. We stand for you for justice, transparency, and righteousness. Thank you and God bless you.
Thank you so much, Congresswoman.
This has been moving and powerful. We want to take questions from members of the media. Members of the media, if anyone in the working media has a question for Attorney Crump, and please identify yourself, speak real loudly. Go ahead.
Let's hear with some questions. Anybody got any illuminating questions specifically about that videotape or that audio, 911 audio?
Yes, ma'am. And that's an excellent question, because thank God for us being able to get the national attention on Nolan Wells' case. And that doesn't happen just by coincidence. It's a lot of the civil rights community, a lot of the activists, Reverend Al, people like Byron Allen, Tyler Perry, everybody on social media coming to say, no, this ain't adding up. We got to find out what happened to Nolan Wells. And then we get contacted by our good friend, Attorney Sean DeRea, saying that, hey, we got a similar case, Attorney Crump, where you co-counsel with us, and Attorney Brooke Clue start working with them. And then we get a call to the call center, President Mariel, and I simply can't believe what happened to Tyler Smith. It shocks my conscience. And so Kareem Ali and Cliff Jones, my investigators, they start to investigate, and we're saying this can't be true. They really didn't do a gunshot residue test on the hands. That's basic. And so it hits me that all of them are 18-year-old black kids that died in very questionable circumstances, when Nolan was the only black kid on the boat. Daniel was the only black kid allegedly on the fishing trip. And Tyler was the only black kid at the 4th of July celebration party, house party. And all of them are 18 years old. Look at the dates. That's eerie when you look at the dates. February 8th, Tyler Smith is born. July 4th, 2026, he is dead. Can I see the other photograph? This is Daniel Irvin. He's born November 21st, 2007. He is dead on April 17th, 2026. Where's the other one? Nolan Wells, born August 19th, 2007. He is dead in July of 2026. The day is yet to be determined. All of these young black kids were born in 2007, and all three of these black kids died 2026, 18 years of age, on the cusp of manhood. And I said, no, we got to show that this is not a coincidence that all these young 18-year-old black men are ending up dead and nobody is being held accountable. No, we got to ring the alarm. We got to ring the alarm. We must ring the alarm for these 18-year-old black boys.
Let me also add this. Our members who were planning to come to Nashville asked me late last week if we would be commenting on, dealing with, shedding any light on the Nolan Wells case. I invited Ben Crump to come to Nashville to brief us on the Wells case. In the course of that conversation, he shared with me, by the way, there are 2 other similar cases. I said, 2 other similar cases? I said, Ben, can you bring all of the families to Nashville? Because the thousands of urban leaders who are here are interested in, have a solidarity with, want to hear directly, not through filters, about the circumstances of these cases. And that is what the National Urban League Conference is all about. It is about dealing with the pressing, cutting edge issues that face the nation and face Black America.
Amen.
So we are here because this is what we do.
Yes.
Whether it was Trayvon Martin back in the early teens, Michael Brown, George Floyd, Sandra Bland, Breonna Taylor, Tamir Rice. We deal with these issues because our constituency wants to hear directly. And I want to say this, we trust Ben Crump.
Yes.
And we know that he does not engage in chasing false cases.
Amen.
That he also, when he takes a case, that he's going to elevate the word and the personality and the pain of the families.
Yes, sir.
All too often,
Yes, sir.
when Black families are victims of violence and victims of unfair justice system, they suffer in silence.
Yeah. Yeah.
They can't find lawyers
Yeah.
with the courage and the ability. They suffer in silence. So I know when Ben Crump has a matter, he is always welcome at the National Urban League Conference to come and bring us up to date. And that's why we're here in Nashville. Other press questions? Any others? Yes, ma'am. Identify yourself, please. New York Post.
Come here. Christine. Yep, we know about the question. We were ready for it. This attack and this threat to sue us and the family for defamation, it's a distraction. We're not distracted by it at all. It's about getting to the truth. That's what we want. And that's what we're focused on. We haven't done anything other than ask questions to get to the truth. Okay. Another question? Can't hear you.
Okay, let me respond to that. That accusation doesn't deserve a response. It has no dignity associated
I wonder what the
with
question was.
someone standing up for children who have died. We don't waste our time arguing with donkeys. We don't waste our time arguing with people who want to distract from the real issue. We have 3 dead Black young men under suspicious circumstances. And I don't think the New York Post ought to give elevation to distractions like that. This is such an old story. We fight for justice and someone suggests all we want is publicity. You know what happens when we stand here? Our inboxes are filled with hate messages, hate mail, hate this, hate that. No one. Our dignity in standing up. And I'm not, you're a reporter, you work for the paper, your editors told you to ask this question. I want you to know we will not be distracted. And I'm not going to, Ben Crump is like any lawyer. He should get paid for his work. Just like every Wall Street lawyer, every Trump lawyer, every insurance defense lawyer.
Nobody said he get drowned. Stop.
And I really want everyone to understand, let's not be distracted.
Amen.
Nobody said he drowned. Ain't no coroner came out and said he drowned. None.
Let's not give air to haters and distractors and dissuaders. So thank you for your question.
I'm happy for CNN, but I ain't heard no autopsy. I ain't heard no pathologist come out and say he drowned. Not one. Not the Mississippi one. Not the one that Colin Kaepernick hired. So why the hell would he even believe that? Y'all goofy. Stop believing everything y'all hear. If the Mississippi people ain't said it, he ain't drowned. If that coroner ain't came out and said nothing like that, he didn't drown.
So let me say this. I'm going to say this. I will not ever surrender the fact that I am an American. However, we celebrate Juneteenth. I don't necessarily celebrate July 4th, but I note it as an important day. And I'm not going to fall into the trap that some want to. I fly the American flag in front of my house.
Why do
But
y'all
on
seem
the
to
other
think that's the
side
same
of my
thing?
porch, I fly the Juneteenth flag. And we are not going to let anyone diminish our birthright, our constitutional right, our birthright to be treated fairly and justly in this country. It is very difficult and challenging in these times, but we are not going to be tricked. We're not going to be dissuaded. We're not going to be distracted. I am an American. I am an African American. I am a Black American. And I'm proud to be one. But I think we need to clearly understand that African Americans, Black people, and civil rights leaders have always been the conscience of this country.
Amen. Amen.
Have always been loyal to the nation, even in the most challenging times.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to suggest it's easy for us. But what we're not going to allow is for people to marginalize us, treat us like second-class citizens, or suggest that somehow, let me tell you what a true patriot is. A true patriot stands up for justice.
Yeah.
A true patriot stands up for the families and the victims of violence. A true patriot holds the justice system accountable, doesn't make excuses for an unjust justice system. So we got to understand that we're not going to get tricked and cornered into people suggesting because we stand up for justice, we're something other than a true and full patriot in this country.
Yeah.
My
That's
question
the way
is, why would you think
I said
somebody
last
would get
night,
on stage and not get paid for
I
their
was
work?
born in a segregated
I'm confused
hospital.
about why you think they shouldn't get
Born
paid.
in a segregated city.
I'm confused about that.
Watched my parents and their friends fight and litigate and march to open doors of opportunity.
Who's suing?
The
I would
reason
love
why
to know
these
who's
times are so
suing.
tough
I would love to know that.
and why they're so difficult is because if we are not careful and if we are not vigilant and diligent, our children and grandchildren will be relitigating the battles of our parents.
Yeah.
This movement in this country to turn back the hands of time is palpable. So when we stand up for these families, and we'll stand up for other families, and we'll stand up for other people, we're doing it because we are true patriots. We're doing it because we believe in justice. We do it because we're going to hold the justice system accountable. This Urban League movement has a mission.
Yes, sir.
And its mission is something
Yeah,
we
wild,
will not
wild.
surrender. Like the Congressional Black Caucus says, we have no permanent friends. We have no permanent enemies. We only have permanent interests.
Amen.
So thank you for your question.
And let me say this before I move on to the final two questions. You know, we as African Americans, as W.B. Du Bois said, we have this duality. I mean, on one hand, we know that when the founders wrote the Constitution, they never expected that the rights would apply to us. But like my personal hero, Thurgood Marshall said, I know they didn't intend it to apply to us, but we're going to make it apply to us anyway because we are American citizens. And if anybody built this country, it was our ancestors with the tolling in the cotton fields. I mean, doing the things that made this very young country become such a prosperous country.
That's why you keep saying that black on black crime happens. Makes no sense, Goofy. When a black person kills another black person, 9 times out of 10, they know who already has killed who. They don't need to have press conferences so they can get justice, Goofy. They already know who killed who in the neighborhood. When black people kill black people, 9 times out of 10, they already know who the perpetrator is. They already got him under the jail. Stop reading statistics like black on black crime means anything. It has nothing to do with these cases. Y'all be killing me with that. Black people kill black people all the time. Yeah, but black people get thrown under the jail 5 minutes after they do it. That ain't what happens when you have white people who commit crime against black people. That's what they're trying to tell you. But you're goofy, so you don't understand it.
At such an early age in its infancy. I mean, when you think about what slavery did to elevate America, that were our ancestors. So, yes, I'm going to celebrate the 4th of July essence every year because my ancestors built this joint. And then I'm really going to celebrate on the Juneteenth because I know that is what we do to acknowledge our ancestry. Just like Jewish Americans celebrate the 4th of July and their important dates, just like Italian Americans celebrate the 4th of July and their important dates, just like Spanish Americans celebrate the 4th of July and important dates to them. Black people, we celebrate the 4th of July because we built America.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have one more.
CNN and Our Woman TV, and then that's going to be it.
Okay, go ahead. Yes, ma'am.
Apparently, CNN is about to help ask a question. I wonder if they're going to ask the question about you heard he drowned.
Briefly to Daniel Irvin, but that's why I was brought in to bring attention to Daniel Irvin case. Sean and his team and their mother been fighting and not making progress, but we're going to get the answers, Sean.
Hey, Rainbow Gear.
We have not had any progress with the Dallas County District Attorney's Office. We are planning, Mr. Crump and I, to meet with the district attorney if he will meet us, and we want to talk about this case. We want to talk about this evidence, and we want to move this forward, and we want murder charges. Is that right, Mr. Crump?
Absolutely. You know, one of the things that Sean and Tamika said, Ryan Young, she said that there was a witness after the drowning that said, Tamika, the young man was limping when he came back. And that was part of the investigation. And she's saying, well, why didn't y'all explore that? Like, why are you limping? You're saying my son jumped off the bridge. Why that's going to cause you to limp?
Yes, that is true. And there was a witness that provided video footage via flash drive to the detectives, and they failed to enter that information in the probable cause affidavit.
It's all right.
The witness also said that the detectives just grossly overlooked that, and they failed to enter that information. Again, I know Daniel did not drown, and tampering with evidence is offensive for the murder they committed.
Thank you.
Do we have any more
And,
questions?
I would just respond to this here on Ryan's case. And his mother believes her child was murdered. We are still trying to get all the information, Attorney DeRay and I, but she does not believe her son unforced went into a lake, a high school swimmer, and drowned. She just isn't accepting that, and she has a right as a parent to question that. As it relates to Tyler Smith, We're going to have more information coming forward because of the hard work of his mother and grandmother. And we think the shoe is about to drop on that. And we're going to meet with the district attorney. We haven't yet, but we're going to meet with them because people are starting to come forward. And I again thank the parents of Nolan Wells because people are coming forward in their case. That's inspiring people to come forward in Tyler Smith's case as well. So thank you all for coming forward. She had the last one.
Let's go here and then Kathleen.
Okay.
I wish we could hear the questions, but you know, they too far
My
out or
message
what?
would be
I don't know.
that we have to have tough conversations. This is something our community already knows. We have to make sure that, and I know my husband and I, we have had countless conversations with all of our children about the importance of understanding when you are moving in different spaces with people that do not look like you. And it's unfortunate that we have to have these conversations, but they are needed in order to hopefully keep our children safe. So I would say to all the mothers out there, especially my Black mothers, we just have to keep pushing forward. We have to do the things to protect our children.
Right.
Kathleen, last question.
What's the last question? And another person on stage lying and racist. You sound goofy as hell, the Woods. You sound goofy as hell. I don't understand what the hell. I'm a open up. No, not the phone lines, but I'm gonna want y'all to somebody can come up on stage. Not stage. Not you ain't gonna be seen. It'll just be talking. We can hear your voice. But I just would love to hear from somebody who seems to think that this is some kind of joke when it comes to people. Ben Crump being up front. Oh, another goofy question. What was the question?
But this is why Ben Crump is so important. This is why when families face these types of challenges, they need good counsel.
Right.
They should not wallow and try to handle it themselves. They shouldn't just go to community leaders and politicians, although that's important. They need good counsel. They need good civil rights counsel. They need people like Ben Crump or Lee Merritt, and there are many, many others around the nation who do this kind of important work.
She's not white. She's Black.
Families that face cases of injustice, cases where they want answers, to work to get good counsel. We at the Urban League, our affiliates, we get calls all the time. And what we try to do is guide them in the right direction.
Trump is just fine. You just jealous. Stop being a hater. Stop being a hater. He just happens to be good at his job. Don't be a hater.
Confront the question.
What's wrong with you people?
About race. Something.
Yeah, you sound goofy.
Whenever a Black person is the victim of an act of injustice, why is it when we seek justice, we get this smear campaign?
Yes. Why? When we seek justice, we get a smear campaign.
I have seen this movie for many, many, many years.
Ben Crump show up and y'all lose y'all mind when you see a Black man standing in front of you talking about I need the answers from what has happened or what has occurred.
For standing up for members of our community. Let the charges come. I say it's like they're blowing bubbles. It's just a lot of rhetoric. It's nasty and it's hateful. But you know what I find?
Ben Crump is not racist.
For every loud person attacking us, there's 15 quiet people.
Yes.
Who represent silent supporters of justice.
Right.
They may not speak out. They may not go on social media, but they're in solidarity. And we have to remember that. The loudest voices in the room are not the most important. voices in the room.
Amen.
Let me thank you all for coming. We've got some other activities, our Women of Power Luncheon. Let's thank Ben Crump. Let's one more time thank these families for their courage, for their courage, for their courage. And I want to thank the media for coming out as well. This press conference is adjourned.
Thank you, Mark Mariel
Yes.
and the National Urban League.
Now, my question. Now, the whole point of the conference, people keep attacking Ben Crump. Ben Crump is there to bring light, to illuminate those corners that are not being shown. That's the whole point of Ben Crump being called and being activated to come to these kind of conferences, to be a representative. This Mississippi, these people in Mississippi, the law enforcement, whatever you want to call it, that apparatus was ready to close Nolan Wells' case as an accidental drowning when nobody had any proof of it being accidental drowning. I heard or I saw in the chat people saying, CNN called it a drowning. No Mississippi person has come out that has the authority to say, has come out and said that he drowned. The Mississippi Authority people have not, the pathologist has not come out and said that he drowned. So just because CNN says it doesn't mean it's true. When they get done with their autopsy of Nolan Wells' body, then we'll understand. But the independent coroner said there was no water in his lungs. No water in his lungs. We heard or we've gotten some videotape, some 911 videotape, some 911 audio tape that shows that there was a conversation on the boat. We just can't ignore that. Okay? Wait a minute. I'm going to put this in the chat. For anybody who want to come up, because I'm not putting you on camera. I'm not putting you on camera. We will just hear your voice. I'm copying the link and putting in the link in the chat if you want to come up. If you want to come up and then talk, you won't be on camera, so we'll just be able to hear your voice, right? The whole point of Ben Crump's job is to bring illumination. Let me address another thing. People keep saying, why is this so important? There's black on black crime all the time. Yes, as I stated, 9 times out of 10, the black suspect is in custody before they even learn what happened. They always go and get the black suspect. They don't go to his house and have a conversation with him. These are the things they do when it's a white person accused of doing something to a black person. They give white people grace. They give white people grace. They don't arrest you first, a white person first. They arrest the black people first. And usually, if there's a black on black crime, you already know who did it, and then they already got that person in jail. You never have to work. They don't never drag their feet when it comes to a black person shooting somebody, the murderer. They got you. 4K. Everybody said you did it. We're gonna arrest you. Why ain't they did the same thing here in this case? Why ain't they did the same thing with these Nolan Wells friends? Why ain't they arrested them first and asked questions second? Because they always give white people grace. That's what is being illuminated here. Every case that was on that stage, they gave the white people grace. They gave them the grace of saying, oh, well, it wasn't me, or let them go home, sit in the house, come up with stories, do all this, that, and that third. It's always grace when it comes to white folks, Hispanic folks, Asian folks. It's always grace when it comes to them, but it's never grace when it comes to black people. Okay? And that's the whole point. Stop asking us why we don't get upset about black on black crime. We get upset about all kinds of crime. But usually when a black person does a crime against a black person, they'll throw their ass in jail without no question, before they got questioned, before they even gathered the evidence. But they never do that when it comes to a white person. When a white person commits a crime against a black person, or a white person is accused of committing a crime against a black person, they never arrest that white person first. They never give them the perk walk. That's the whole point. And the reason why Ben Crump is hired is because they're trying to slow drag this investigation. They're trying to say that he drowned and there was no water in his lungs. So if there's no water in his lungs, how did he drown? Don't give me the bullshit about a teaspoon of water. Don't give me the bullshit. They took his neck, they took his lungs, and they didn't give it to Colin Kaepernick. Why didn't they give it to Colin Kaepernick's independent investigator? Why didn't they give that to him? The neck, the lungs. Why didn't they send those along right with the autopsy? His body. Because they had already tried to put a story out there about him having drowned when there's no proof of him drowning. When the Mississippi coroner comes out here and says that he drowned, then I'll believe that he drowned. But other than that, don't say that he drowned when it ain't no proof that he drowned, because ain't nobody said it. Okay? Nobody said it. The whole point is it's a cover-up. The sheriff came out on the second day talking about it was a drowning. How did that sheriff know it was a drowning when nobody had any proof of a drowning? Nobody had that proof. But yet and still, we have a policeman, a sheriff coming out here saying it's a drowning. And he don't even know any of that to be true. Here we have another videotape. See, this is what, y'all got to watch the progression of this whole thing. Those three boys that came out and did interviews, those three boys were so telling in their interview process. We looked at them goofy. Why would you come out here and start talking about this? Now they're saying they're trying to throw light on or throw shade on the mother. They're trying to throw shade on Nolan. He's a drunk. He did alcohol. He did drugs, blah, 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 blah. He was out there having sex with a girl. They're trying to throw shade on that man's character, on that young boy's character. Because they understand if you throw shade on the victim, we're less likely to hear that this was a victim instead of a perpetrator, instead of a person who deserved to get killed. Because some of y'all goofies out there talking about why they got Ben Crump. Ben Crump is it don't matter whether Ben Crump is a race baiter or not. It don't matter. Ben Crump brings national spotlight to this case, which was needed because they were giving Miss Christina and that Elmore dude, they were giving them the runaround about their child dying, talking about, oh, he just drowned, when you know goddamn well that he didn't drown. Okay? Because a lot of y'all act like y'all don't seem to understand how this thing works. I swear to God, a lot of you white people act like y'all don't understand how this shit works. Because you walk around in la-la land because you don't think of the consequences of your actions to other races of people. Oh, no. These boys are innocent. These boys are not innocent. Those boys that Nolan got on that boat with are not innocent. They're not innocent. When Nolan got on that boat, Nolan was alive. They went to look for Nolan on the second day. His body was nowhere to be found. It was not on the island. How did his body get on the island the second day? They started looking for him. It's because they ass went back and got him and put him in the water. Or put him on the island, face down. And I'm not saying that they murdered Nolan. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is they understand that. What I'm saying is they know what I'm saying is they know what happened to Nolan. That's all I'm going to say. Them boys that he went to the island with, they know what happened to him. Something happened to him. Y'all heard the 911 call. Don't play stupid. Don't play like y'all don't understand. Because a lot of y'all play like y'all don't understand. Everybody heard that 911 tape. Everybody heard them call Nolan's name. Everybody heard that. If I didn't hear nothing else, I heard that one person say, Nolan, no. Everybody heard that. Don't give me your bullshit. So they may not have killed him. He may have did an overdose. He may have overdosed himself. He may have offed himself. But they know what happened to that boy. They may not have killed him, but they know what happened to that boy. So people coming in my chat talking about, oh, they so racist. No, I don't give a fuck who's racist or who's not racist. Those boys know what happened to Nolan. They know what happened to Nolan. Don't come in my chat talking about, oh, they racist. So because they're racist, because we racist or whoever's racist, they shouldn't find out or shouldn't know what happened to Nolan. We should just pay attention to them, Ben Crump being racist. Fuck Ben Crump. Fuck whoever's racist. Those boys know what happened to Nolan. They may not have killed him, but they know what happened to Nolan. Period. And you can say they ain't guilty. You can't say no. We can say kind of definitively, they know what the fuck happened to that boy. They know what happened to Nolan. That's why the mother on that stage today was saying, please don't be scared to come forward. I know that all y'all was on the boat. I know something happened to Nolan, and some of y'all didn't do something, and some of y'all just saw it happen, and some of y'all just scared to say something. Because they know that these boys know exactly what happened to their kid. They know. Okay? And it don't matter whether he was drunk or high, fell off the boat or whatever. And that's another thing. Great. He fell off the boat. He was drunk, he was high, and he fell off the boat. Them is your friends. Those were your friends that said you fell off the boat. No, them is your friends that know you fell off the boat. Why didn't they come and tell their mom and daddy that he fell off the boat and we couldn't find him? We couldn't get him out of the water. He fell off the boat. Why didn't they call a 911 call right then? Maybe that is what happened. Maybe he was drunk and high. Maybe he did fall off the boat. Maybe they did try to grab him out of the boat. That would explain that 911 call. That would explain all that information. It would explain all that frantic talking in the background. That would explain. Maybe they found him off the water. They found him in the water. They dragged him on the boat, but he wasn't breathing. Whatever. Or he fell off the boat. They didn't know he fell off the boat until after he fell off the boat, and then he was dead by the time he got. Who knows? But we know that these boys know something. Okay? Don't act like they're innocent. They're not innocent. And the problem is that they covered up a crime. And that's where they deserve to go to jail if they covered up a crime. Okay? Because you had no business covering up a crime. When you could stand up for your friend, you decided not to. You got scared because you were afraid that you were going to go to jail. Just like they giving y'all ass grace, you white dudes, just because they giving y'all grace now, they would have gave y'all grace if y'all came forward and said he drowned or he fell in the water or he hit his head or anything else. Or we had but see, that's the whole point. What happened was nefarious. What happened, they can probably go to jail for. That's why they're afraid to come forward. Okay. Somebody tried to save his life. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows what happened? Except those boys on the boat. Those boys on the boat know exactly what happened. And they can not lie and tell the public and their mom because they lawyered up, cleaned all their social media. They was such good friends, such amazing good friends to Nolan, but not now one on one to come to the funeral. I don't care whether I'm surrounded by the most vicious racists in the world. If that's my friend, I'm gonna come honor my friend at this funeral. Come hell or high water. We just gonna go at it at the funeral, but I'm gonna go honor my friend. So bullshit. They understand. Those kids understand perfectly well what happened on that damn boat. Okay. They know that. They may not have killed him. It may not be anything like that, but they covered it up. Okay. But they covered it up somehow. Okay. Warren is offering $50K reward of his own money. Do you wonder why? People do shit all the time. Okay. People do shit all the time to cover whatever crime they got going on. People do shit all the time. And maybe Warren didn't do anything. Maybe Warren was so in shock that he couldn't do anything. Maybe Warren just stood by and saw that his friend, maybe that was Warren on the tape saying, Nolan, no. Maybe that was Warren on there. Who the fuck knows? Nobody knows. Okay? Nobody knows what's going on. That's crazy. No, that boat, after that 911 tape, who has heard the 911 tape? That 911 tape that came out that had them talking on the 911 tape saying, is he dead? Touch his chest. Nolan, no. Get the fuck up, Nolan. Who saw that? Who heard that 911 tape? If you heard the 911 tape, you can't say that he wasn't on the boat. Okay? You can't say that. Please hit that like and that subscribe button, please, and thank you. Give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down. Engagement is engagement. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Let me read some of the comments in the comment section because I don't know. I don't know who did what. You just want to find out what's going on. All I can say is leave that mother and her child alone. Stop denigrating that mother and that child. Because the mother and father have nothing to do with this. The mother and father want to know what happened to their kid. Okay? That's it. And you got goofies over there. Now you can go over to Tatum's. You can go over to the office Tatum's stream, and you can find out now he even saying somebody had nefariously did something to Nolan. Somebody did something to Nolan. Okay. Okay. These are the reasons why Ben Crump was hired. Okay. And black on black crime. I addressed that. Stop asking people about black on black crime. They don't give black people grace. So they arrest black people all the time. Stop it. But they give white people grace. Just like they're giving white people grace right here. Okay. I hope they figure out what happens to him soon enough. Soon enough. Right? Okay. And that's the thing. So what if there is, and what exactly are you insinuating? They're not insinuating anything. Nobody has insinuated anything. I'm insinuating, and I'm telling you straight up, the friends of Nolan who were on the boat know what happened to Nolan. One or two of them did something to Nolan, and the rest of them are scared to say. It is what it is. Okay. We don't know. Said, I wonder like they have satellite. Yeah, I thought about that too. Why they don't have satellites that can zoom down and get that footage? Why they don't have the girl who cleaned up the audio, the 911 audio. Why the FBI don't have no good people who know how to clean up audio? Why the FBI don't have that? Okay. The FBI got to have these things that work really good, that know how to separate voices. They got to. So the FBI should know everything. Okay. Crump did a press conference on that Coney guy, on that what's his name, Cohen Wiley. He did a press conference, so he know. Okay. So he gets that. This is an attack on law enforcement. Law enforcement, do your job. Don't come out here saying that he drowned when the medical examiner hasn't said that he drowned. Okay. So stop it. Okay. That's the whole point. Don't come out here and say something when it's not true. Okay. Nobody is suing anybody. The only person that's trying to sue somebody is what's his name? That young guy, that Bart person. Okay, that Bart person, and that's one of the guys that was on the boat. We heard his name clearly on that 911 tape too. He was on the boat too. So he's trying to sue people who keep saying that he was a part of killing Noah. Who knows? People who do heinous things lie all the time. Okay? They do it, lie all the time. Ben Crump is allowed to make money for his job. That's his job, to illuminate cases. You're just a hater if you don't understand that. People do it all the time. Okay? That's goofy. I was saying, what did they say? Goofy? Why y'all say? I say goofy. Okay. The first slave owner in the U.S. was black. He got slaves because he liberated his family. He had to make them slaves, otherwise they wouldn't be able to be alive. Y'all so goofy. Some of y'all goofy just don't know nothing. He said, why the first slave owner in the U.S. was black? Look, yes, he bought his relatives. Just goofy. He bought his wife. He bought his relatives. Just dumb. Okay. This was a hate crime for anyone who is confused. Yes, it could be a hate crime. We never know. We just don't know. We have to find out who the perpetrators are. Okay. We have to find out who, what, when, where, or why. Okay. More fake videos. Oh my God. I don't know what fake videos came out. Maybe there are more. I don't know. I've prayed for him and his family, but as soon as I see Crump there, I knew what was going on. You don't even know what was it. You never heard Ben Crump say anything about racism. Not at all. Just because you see a black person don't mean it's racism. Just because Ben Crump shows up, it doesn't mean it's racism. Ben Crump represents white people too. Y'all goofy. How y'all goofy like this? Okay, what else? Okay, Crump is not good counsel. Crump is an excellent counsel. He ever represented, yes, Ben Crump has represented white people before. Thank goodness the bullshit is over. The bullshit is not over. The bullshit is still going on as long as those white boys won't come forward and tell what they know. And the Mississippi law enforcement is covering for them. As long as they're covering for them, it's going to be bullshit. Okay? So please grow up. Please grow up. Ben is pulling their race card. Ben ain't pulled no race card. Not at all. Not that I know of. CNN said he was drunk and drowned. CNN has shitty reporting because I haven't heard any medical person say that he drowned. Okay. So it is what, and it doesn't matter. That's what y'all don't get. Only you immature people who don't know how to evolve with their brain and their thinking keep saying racism, racism, racism. If you don't understand how racism works in this country, then you would continue to say, this is racism, this is racism. We know it's racism. The whole point is to get beyond the racism. The whole point is to understand that it is racism and then to get beyond it. Stop saying it's black people who perpetuate racism. It's not black people who perpetuate racism. When you have black people who commit crime against black people, that black person is arrested immediately, so they already know who the perpetrator is. Why is it that when you think you already know who the perpetrator is, or who you think the perpetrator is, or you haven't had proof, you just arrest them? Why is it that these people don't get arrested? Why is it that y'all give white people grace? That's the racism we're talking about. That's the racism that we have to face every day. I don't understand why you white people don't get that. I don't understand why you white people don't, your brain doesn't think like that. I don't understand. Y'all say that some of the dumbest shit, and you're supposed to be educated out here, but you don't seem to understand the grace that they give white people as opposed to black people. I don't understand. Some of y'all slow. I don't understand it. Nobody said water in his lungs. Nobody said that. Nobody said that. Who said there was water in the lungs? Because I haven't heard it. I heard a person on this channel in one of these news conferences say there was no water in his lungs. So where did you hear water in the lung? If you haven't heard it from the Mississippi coroner, then there's no water in his lungs. Stop lying. You stop lying. The pathologist in Mississippi hasn't come out and said anything about any lungs. So you stop lying. They're the people who have the lungs. So those are the people that can tell you there was water in the lungs. Just be talking. Okay. They have to keep lying. Keep lying about what? What do you mean? Keep lying about what? Who's lying about what? That's the question. Who's lying about what? And you can't say who's lying about anything. You're just upset because there's a black man on TV talking about trying to hold white boys accountable. That's wild. Yeah, the riptide. Yeah. If these people, if they were having a boat issue like they said they were, why did they travel for a whole hour and a half at 30 knots or something to that effect? And that was like slow creeping. They slow crept in that boat. Why would they be slow creeping in that boat if they were taking on water? That don't make no sense. Don't make no sense. Yeah, his best friend tried to save him. Where? Nobody said anything about him trying to save. Who said his best friend tried to save his life? Nobody said that. Nobody said that at all. Where do you get this stuff from? Just be talking. The father of Warren is offering a $50,000 reward. Well, maybe he is. Thank you. It ain't the first time a guilty party is offered some money. It ain't the first time. It ain't gonna be the last time. Layered up because they're being called racist murder. Of course, they weren't called racist murderers the first day. Goofy. They weren't called racist murderers at the beginning. Goofy. They lawyered up before anybody said anything to them. Goofy. Just dumb. Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Report it for misinformation. And y'all need to hear everybody. This is the young man. This is the person that comes on the stream and wants to disrupt the stream for goofy nonsense. Why don't y'all dig into his name and find out who he is? Because he loves to spread this misinformation. This is the name right here. Y'all look him up. See if you can find him. See if he spreads disinformation everywhere. Because he seems to love to spread it right here. Okay? He seems to love to spread it right here. We love to hear that. Y'all, yes, please. He's on the screen. You can look him up. The internet is undefeated. They'll find whoever they want to find. Okay. This is not it's just another person that happened to die. What the hell is wrong with you? He's no more important than a piece of shit on the ground. Yeah, sure, he's not. Absolutely. He's important to the family, and that's the whole point. The whole point is he's important to the family. He may not be important to you. He may not be important to me, but he's important for the family. Okay, so it is what it is. Okay, Ben Crump is not Ben Crump. Why wouldn't a person want money for their services? That's just dumb. Just dumb. Why would I take on a case unless it's pro bono? Okay. Go on for the item for about 2. How can you do something to someone when you're hey, I dropped the link for people to come up and speak. I dropped that link for people to come up and speak. Okay. You keep saying white people. So I can make the distinction. That's why I keep saying white people. That doesn't mean I'm racist because I say white people. Y'all goofy. Okay. That happens all the time. His best friend tried to save his life. Nobody said anything about trying to save his life. Nobody knows nothing about the story. The whole point is for them to come forward and say something about the story. Okay? That's the whole point. It's for them to come forward. That's what the ransom money is for people to come forward and say what they know. Okay? That's the whole point. To try to save his life. Nobody knows that. Lies like, are you a boat expert? No, I'm not a boat expert. Not at all. But I don't need to be a boat expert in order to read the information about the boat. Go to the sea tow. Go to the website and look up the boat information. The boat information is right there. And it says they didn't leave the water. They didn't leave the water. And they were only traveling at a snail's pace. If you're taking on water, why would you be traveling at a snail's pace for an hour and a half? Shut your ass up. Go look it up. Man, you can look up boat information all over. That's crazy. If this is the first black kid this has happened to, we can see y'all saying we jumped to conclusions, but he is not the first. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Say it out loud. That's what I'm saying. They act like this is the first black guy that we should just take their word for it. This is not. As you can see on the panel, it was like 3 or 4 black guys. I don't know anything about boats. I don't know anything about boats. Nothing. Officer Tatum shows seems to know. Yeah, Officer Tatum went and interviewed the men. He has the best of both. He has the best of all the world. He has all the information. Now, even he's saying there's foul play involved. Even he's saying that. So nothing is new, okay? Nothing is new. He's saying something happened, okay? Nobody cares about that. Everybody cares about this goofy. Open your eyes, goofy. Everybody cares about this. You wouldn't get so many clicks and views on every channel whenever this comes up. Everybody cares about this goofy. Jesus. Officer Tatum shows seems that yes, he does. That's what I said. I'm always lying. I lie all the time like a rug. I lie all the time, just like you lie all the time. That makes no sense. Please hit the like and subscribe button. I'd appreciate it. I will be back with more content. And feel free to leave a comment. I'd appreciate everybody leaving a comment, a thumbs up or a thumbs down, however you want to do it. Okay? I'd appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you guys for coming out. I appreciate all of you guys. All of you guys. I do.